That was the Raconteur. Steady she goes. You're listening to Russell Brand on Radio 2. Thank you very much for listening. I'm here with Matt Morgan. He's in charge of the buttons and switches. You all right there, Matthew?
I'm very well.
It's going to be a good show today. I've got a very good feeling about it. Have you got a good feeling about it, Matthew?
I've got one of the best feelings I've ever had about anything.
Can we trust these feelings, these intuitions we feel within our guts, our baser animal instincts that have guided us from the caves to this? You sat in front of a desk, me stood up near a mic. Can we trust those instincts?
You haven't come so far from the caves, have you?
Oh, for me, it's been a bit of a meander. I can still see the cave door.
Me with all my buttons.
Look at you there. Me, I'm still sort of looking at a cave painting thinking, oh, I don't know how we're going to catch that antelope. He looks like a cunning fellow. Trevor Locke is here as well. Trevor Locke's in charge of emails, telephone calls, and other technological things, which he probably finds baffling. You all right, Trevor?
Aye, Captain. I'm all right, sir, yes.
So you're going to use nautical terms, are you, to address me on this show?
The studio's a ship.
Do you? Do you? That's how you regard it. Well,
myself as a cabin boy.
You're a cabin boy,
I think so.
Matt's first mate, I'm the captain.
I think so. Yeah, well, yes, or he could be the cook, couldn't he?
Isn't first mate bad?
No, that's good. Why would that be bad? First mate. Both those words are lovely words. First way, mate.
Suspicious.
Nice words. Nice bits of language. We're talking about personal conspiracy theories. Matthew, you already have a personal conspiracy theory about the term first mate and other nautical banter, other maritime terms you see to be intrinsically linked to negativity, which they ain't. Like, when we're talking about personal conspiracies, right, that we want to hear about your personal conspiracies, we don't mean, like, great big conspiracies like, oh my God, what happened to JFK? Blimey, I'm suspicious about the government. There are aliens. We mean more things like, you know, just things in your private life, personal life, like, he's stealing my milk. And me, for example, this is like, I've long believed that, right, say you're trying to send a text message, and you send a text message, right, I will send a text message to that young lady or to that gentleman, and your phone goes, message sending failed, it flashed out on the screen. I think that my telephone is taking a cognitive role, has made a decision, thinking it's editorialising, Matthew, yes, my life, thinking, don't send that message, Russell, no good will come from that. And as a result, my phone has become known as Cooper, my sort of phone butler. Yes, Cooper, it would be a mistake to send that message. So I sort of think my phone's got a personality and it's editorialising my text messages. That's the sort of thing that I'm thinking. Have you got, Trevor, you've got an email of some personal conspiracies that we've seen and some things off the blog. What are those?
Well, I've got an agreement with you. Somebody saying, don't worry that you think you're strange about having a little friend called Cooper, because this is from Karen. She says, I also have a private advisor, Russell, my iPod Johnston. He answers my questions.
MP3 machines are available.
Exactly, yes. She says, whenever I press the shuffle button, he finds me a perfect song that has the lyrics that answer all life's queries.
Really? So she thinks she is in league with this technological machine. So maybe some people out there think that the microwaves, you know, trying to help them through life, or that the washing machine couldn't do erotic dancing. Matthew, have you got any conspiracy theories?
Personal ones, yes.
Yeah, go on then.
I think that on my medical records it says I'm a hypochondriac.
You think that the doctor's got something against you?
Yeah.
That is taking hypochondria to a ridiculous new degree. You're now having a hypochondriac reaction to whether or not you're a hypochondriac.
Why aren't we? Are we allowed to see our medical records?
I don't know. I don't think they'd like you seeing them.
I think you have to like apply to look at them.
And I bet they'd resent it. I had a quick peek at mine once, and it just said, "Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, you poor man."
They must be unreadable largely because of
Doctor's handwriting.
Doctor's handwriting. But yeah, so once I went to the doctor, and do you remember when I had that really bad pain in my hip?
He had a pain in his hip. He had a hip problem.
Which the pain referred to one of my testicles.
Yeah, I like that. There's this pain in the hip is ludicrous. I refer you to my genitalia.
That is the actual medical term for when pain, you know.
I know it's the medical term, Matthew. Don't go on your, my mum, who's a nurse, your little Johnny Briggs mantra.
Whenever I've got anything wrong with me, I look on Google. I internet it for about an hour.
Yeah, I know. That's the worst. Obviously, you're not supposed to do that.
I'm almost a doctor now.
Alright then, okay, let me tell you this. I've got this rash here. Yep. On my chest. What should I do about it?
On your sternum there.
There on my sternum. Oh, that's a word, isn't it, Trevor?
Just above your solar plexus there.
Yes. What do you think it is?
It looks like lipstick.
That's the correct answer. I was trying to make myself a dartboard. Yeah, okay, yeah, so you've got a degree of medical knowledge, well done.
Well, I had this pain and I went to the doctors, and it turned out, rather embarrassingly, it was because my jeans were too tight.
Right,
do you remember that when I wore those tight jeans?
Yes.
But
we do wear tight jeans. This is one of our clan's trademarks.
You have to sort of get the ones that are a bit stretchy with a bit of lycra in.
You don't have to do that.
You do. Because you can't do them up, and they hurt. And so I was forcing myself into these jeans, wore them. I bought them in New York at Christmas, and then the doctor said, "Look at your trousers, they're far too tight. This is," and like, it's worked out in about a second that it was because of my trousers.
Right.
And she goes, since when have you been wearing those? And I said, Christmas. And then, for some reason, I got really scared that she'd think they were a Christmas present.
And that you'd been wearing them every day since Christmas, like a child.
Christmas. They weren't a Christmas present. Well, that doesn't matter. I can't wear them anymore.
That's ridiculous, Abby. They weren't a Christmas present. They've got no sentimental value. I remember one Christmas, I got these big, white, ridiculous trainers. There was this fad for pump-up trainers, right? And I got a pair of them. They were preposterous. They were 130 quid, which was an enormous amount of money in those days. I don't know, but I really went for it. I had these great, and I got them for Christmas Day. I was really proud of them. And I fancied the girl in the next street, and I got on my Christmas boots, so bigger than my head, and went round like to Nikki's house, and there was like, and she was the year above me at school, and I really fancied her. And there was another lad there, right? And there's this bit where I was going, "All right, Nikki, how's it going?" And this bloke looked over me, who called like Steve. I think he was really cool and slick, and he looked over at me and went, "What'd you get for Christmas then, mate?" And his big gleaming igloo boots on.
When you had like a basketball and you pressed it and they blew up.
Yeah. It had absolutely no chiropodic value, I don't imagine, for a moment.
No.
Stupid things to do. This is going to be an incredible show. Later on the show, we've got Courtney Love coming on. She's going to be here for a bit of chat, a bit of banter. It'll be lovely to have her. She's an intriguing and interesting woman. Lovely she is, so that's exciting. We'll have a chat on the blow with Noel Gallagher. We'll have a chat with John Ronson. We'll have contributions from people all over the globe, I imagine, so stay listening to Radio 2. You're listening to BBC Radio 2. That was the New York Dolls 7-day weekend. This is the Russell Brand show. Ooh, them New York Dolls, Matthew. Do you admire them?
I do like them.
I like them. I like their haircuts. I like their way and their manner. I like them. They're punky. And I like it that Morrissey really likes them.
Yeah, didn't he? Wasn't he the head of their fan club?
Yeah, he's the head of their fan club.
That says I'm reading that. Well, wasn't he the head of their fan club?
That was Matt being organic and just honest, doing just a little bit of honest radio there. Yeah, it's nice to think of Morrissey having an administrative position.
He wrote loads of letters to the NME, didn't he, early on?
Yeah, he did.
Be covering the New York Dolls more.
Now, look here. I mean, it was a right little fuss pot, wasn't he? Poor little fella. Morrissey may very well be on this show, either next week or the week after. That'd be exciting to have a bit of a chat with Morrissey, won't it? I'm nervous. You know that whole don't meet your heroes thing, of course. That'd be alright for Trevor, because all these heroes, people like Douglas Bader and people from the old days.
That's why I'm a bit nervous about Courtney Love, because Kurt Cobain was such a hero of mine.
Yeah.
It's a bit weird, like, because when I was a kid, she was a big, like, so aware.
And now she's actually going to be in your life.
In the room with me. I mean, I've met her once, briefly.
Yeah, she came to our MTV show, didn't she, once? She gave me a nice gift. She gave me this silk tie with 7 different ties on it. She'd got it for herself, and then when I met her, she gave it to me. Incredibly generous. She's a woman that you have a lot of preconceptions and prejudices. It was like 7 different ties off of one central spine, all silken black ties.
Well, you wear it one.
You can wear it as many times as you want. It's not one day a week sort of thing. Like the way you rotate your pants.
No, I mean, you've got 7
There's
ties.
my Monday pants. There's the guys I wear Tuesday. Yeah, there's just this 7 ties from a central spine. It's like a beautiful bow. Now, I think it's interesting you meet someone with Courtney, someone you have a lot of preconceptions about. You bring a lot of prejudice to someone like her, don't you? But she's actually, what defined me for her? She was a focused, lovely, bright woman. I wonder how she'll be in here. She won't be able to smoke. That's going to be, we're going to have to be careful around the smoking. None of us lot smoke. It's a no smoking building. We'll have to be careful around her. Cover her in patches. Just as soon as she gets in, wad her right up with Nico gums. And what about nicotine when we was kids? Oh, that guy. Do you remember Nicotine? He was Superman's arch enemy. I liked him.
He wasn't.
Well, not
ad campaign.
Not his
Lex Luthor.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, he didn't crop up as much as Lex Luthor.
You lapsed that campaign right up, didn't you?
I really did. But I've much from, like, what it was an anti-smoking campaign. They created this nicotine guy. I don't know why it really affected me. I liked him.
Do you know what it used to make me think? You know when Superman squashed the cigarette?
The box of fags, yeah.
They looked all bendy and nice. It made me want to have
them. They did. They made the cigarettes look attractive.
Like sweets.
I'd like some of those chewy fag things. I must go get me a box of those guys. Yeah, and Nicotine, he just had he looked all sort of jaded, and like he was he lived his life through a veil of smoke, and he had a top hat and everything. I liked him. Yeah. I just thought he seemed like a nice sort of a fella, and he was all sort of a bit spindly and Victorian, wasn't he? Oh, and Superman's just a square.
A big chump.
Yeah, you big daft chump, you big representation of American values, you big chump. Nicotine, he's a bit avant-garde. Oh, would you like a cigarillo? I liked him.
Like that.
Didn't he? He was American.
I think he spoke like that.
Oh, yeah, probably coughed, didn't he? Hey, Superman. Why, hey kids, have a fag. Don't have a fag, kids.
Yeah, that was nicotine was just sort of flying around giving fags to children.
In a way, he was a great philanthropist.
He's a nice guy.
He was I consider him to be like a Dr. Bernardo figure, just trying to help kids out when they need a packet of smokes. No, don't smoke if you are a child and you listen to Radio 2 at 9 o'clock in the night for some reason. But you've probably got other problems, really, that you should probably prioritise. So we done the comic relief thing earlier in the week. We did, I know, I warp grammar deliberately because I think it sounds cute. We did this...
Also, you've warped it to say we. It's just you, mate.
You was there, Matthew. You came along.
I was in the audience. You can't hardly say I did it.
I know, but
I've done it.
He was, or diddly I try diddly it. So that's my new. I'm going to try and create a new tense for modal verbs that's got I chai on it. So you go, wouldn't I chai? Didn't I chai? Come on, I chai. Do you think it'll catch on? Probably it widdly I chai. That means won't. Yeah, we done comic relief, and it was good, wasn't it? I had to be in a sketch with Matt and Dave. I was in the I'm a lady sketch. I didn't go down well because you've just heard me do the voice. I was a plumber in that sketch with, I believe they're called Emily and Florence. I had to come in wearing like a boiler suit. It was all done up with poppers, and underneath it I was wearing ladies' lingerie, and of course revealed myself to be a transvestite at the sketch's climactic moment. Earlier in the day, rehearsed with Matt and David.
It was funny that for me, you looked much more out of place wearing DMs than you did ladies' underwear.
I felt more comfortable. Once I got that boiler suit off and was just wearing leopard print like lingerie, I thought, oh, I can relax at last. What I didn't like, because oddly as well, when I was wearing like a boiler suit and DMs, I looked like a lesbian as opposed to a plumber, didn't I? It just looked like a female trying to look masculine, as opposed to what I am, a man.
You did look like June Brown.
They look like, did I? My neck, I look like Dot Cotton.
Weird, yeah.
Well, once I was in the lingerie, I looked like
No, lingerie, you look fantastic, darling.
Comfortable, I must say. I felt very
Maybe that was because you had a breast implant down the front of your pants.
Yeah, which you insisted I put there. Like, he does things like
as
this
a
to
mate.
Me regularly, right?
As first mate.
It was embarrassing, right? Because I had to get I was sharing a dressing room with Jonathan Ross and Peter Saranovich. I can never say his name. He's got so many syllables in his surname. Brilliant, fantastic actor. Must you have so many
hoarding them in your name?
It's ridiculous. That's why there's people called things like Bo Peep, because of you hoarding all those syllables. Peter Stefanovich.
Russell hadn't learned his lines, and Jonathan Ross was in there gabbling.
Yeah, I know, I had to tell them, like, so me and Matt were practicing lines. Jonathan Ross is such a fantastic, magnanimous man. There's no difference between Jonathan Ross's on-screen and on-air persona and who he actually is. Like, me and Matt are sort of like... Right, there's this lovely bit where Jonathan Ross was, like, smoking a cigar, leaning out of a window, like, chatting to us about films, and it was good, because it was like having your own 2007 or whatever this is we're in now, film review, wasn't it?
2006.
I can never remember what it is. I don't look at the end bit, I just remember it's 2000-something.
It's film 92, took me forever.
Hello, I just think it's Barry Norman's turned blimey, look at Barry Norman, he's turned into a teddy boy. Who is this fella? He's got the beats, hasn't he? He's dangerous. Watch out for him, he could be a glue sniffer. But Jonathan Ross was like sort of just leaning out the window, talking about, oh yeah, I'll watch that film. You do a really good Jonathan Ross impression, Matthew, you should do it now. Oh yeah, I'll watch that film, right, smoking a cigar and that, all blasé.
That's that woman with big teeth.
What's that? Oh, what, Janet Street Porter. That's in, I inadvertently do impressions of her while just trying to live my life, because there are obvious similarities. Right, so like, he was just leaning out this window.
Only dentally.
There are dentally. We both got their great big window pane gnashers. Like, he was leaning out, like, sort of on the windowsill, smoking this cigar, talking about films and that, and did this aggressive, me and Matt were just sort of like talking to him, like, because he's an elder statesman of broadcasting, showing him all respect and that, and he did this big, mighty grunt. It was like a guff when he went,
like, if an elephant had done it, it would be ashamed to walk away.
Yeah, you'd say, oh Christ, Nelly, have you no manners, dear? Get to the back of the elephant house. I'm not surprised you produced dung. If an elephant done that, Chris O'Philly would be right round the back going, hello, I'll be able to knock up a painting out of that.
Yeah. Hannibal would have got off and gone home again.
I'm not putting up with that. Dumbo would have gone, I don't know, would have gone, right, you might be able to fly using your ears, but it's clearly a jetpack from your Botticello that's ultimately propelling you. So I think you get the idea. It was a loud blow-off. And he sort of looked, he was talking to us, took a big tug on his cigar, did this mighty elephantine guff, laugh and went, "Excuse me, gentlemen, while I enjoy my luxurious lifestyle." that fart was part of his luxurious lifestyle.
It wasn't a poor person's fart.
It was not. That was the fart of a rich and elegant man, a skilled broadcaster, wasn't it? Blimey, yeah, what a wonderful evening. Then, of course, what was that, Matthew?
Yeah, you were saying about that thing you put down trousers.
Yeah, no, you were saying about that, Matthew. What happened was, I sort of put on all the lingerie. Jonathan Ross is there, Peter Seferanovic is there, lovely, talented, brilliant man. I'm not being, cheap about him. Right, so I was putting on the lingerie, and Matt looked over, and, like, to tell you the truth, the tightness of the lingerie was suppressing my genitalia, which have a broad range of dimensions. Sometimes my genitalia look glorious and magnificent. Sometimes I look down at those things with pity. Like, and on this occasion, I think with the nerves and the tightness of the lingerie,
Get on with it.
it was not impressive. And Matt goes, right, and there's these fillet things, these artificial fillet things that I was meant to stuff down the bra, right, and I was finished. I was happy to go on stage like that. And Matt goes, "You might want to put one of them fillets down the front of your pants, mate." Didn't you?
I didn't say it like Nick Cotton.
You did. "Here, Ma, stick that down the front of your trousers." "Oh no!" Dum, 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 like whenever Nick
Couldn't
turns
get
up
down
in
there
this.
quick enough, could you?
I liked it, actually. It felt quite nice, and also I felt much more confident. And when I saw pictures in the newspaper, I felt much better about myself.
Well, there you go. Who's looking out for you, eh?
"Oh, Matt, that's what a first mate he's turned out to be. Aye, with ship-shape and Bristol fashion. Trevor, you look bemused, profused,
Well, I don't know
confuddled."
what is a fillet? A piece of fish?
It's exactly shaped like, I think originally they must have used chicken
Herring.
breasts as initially as
didn't.
bras, because it's an artificial emulation of a chicken
Russell,
breast,
do you
but made
really
out of.
Chicken breast?
Do you really think people use chicken breast as bra?
Yes. Not as bras, bra
Yes.
stuffing. Yes, donkey down a whoopsie on the stage. I think they used them to stuff bras
They
with.
look like chicken breasts. They're like...
Yeah, but that's because it's mimicking the shape of a chicken breast.
No,
Not
it's
coincidence.
not.
It is, mate.
It's just a bit of flesh-coloured sort of...
"I will go to town on this, Matthew Morgan." They are definitely mimicking chicken breast, and I've heard it. Women did used to stuff
just
chicken.
call
Look
them
at Mark
chicken breast
nodding.
because
Look at our producer
Chicken
nodding.
breast?
Nodding.
Do you really think people put raw meat down their
Yes, I do. And
can't
I
have
think they
been
put raw
raw.
meat down their pants, and I think they have raw meat as friends. I think raw meat is underrated as a commodity, even as a vegetarian. I think you could have them as a set of golf club. Sausage golf clubs, anyone? Bacon hats? Why not?
Yeah.
He looked at me with vague disappointment there. So anyway,
Just zoned out. Really.
what a night it was, that comic relief gala. I felt a bit sorry for Holby City's Jeremy Edwards when David
dear.
done that character. He does a character that's a children's entertainer, and as David Baddiel pointed out on the night, when that character began, it was just a children's entertainer. Through time and the interpretation of David Walliams, it became an aggressively gay children's entertainer, something that David Baddiel pointed out on the night. And he got Jeremy Edwards out there. There's a character where he gets two chumps out of the audience, stooges, I suppose, and then like one of them he's really nice to, the other one is really derisory towards. He aggressively pulled down Jeremy Edwards' trousers and pants, revealing to the world his genitals.
Well, I think he meant to pull down his trousers, didn't mean the pants to come with it.
Poor Jeremy Edwards, you feel...
Did he have a fillet down there?
No, he didn't. It was more like a wing at best.
Oh, dear.
Poor soul. Okay, well, why don't we... Matthew, what should we have a listen to now?
Nirvana.
Mate? Why not? We've got Courtney coming on. What is this in particular?
This is Love Buzz. It's actually a cover of... You know that band who did I'm Your Venus?
Oh, it's them?
Yeah.
A cover of them?
It's a cover of theirs.
Oh, lovely. We'll just have to listen to that. That'll be fun.
Okay.
Okay, let's listen to this now. Radio 2. Nirvana there. You listen to Russell Brand on Radio 2. Tell us the specifics of that track. Oh, there's a bit more from a little bonus
squeaky
from them.
nice.
Nice, wasn't it, Matthew? Go on. What was that? So who was the cover?
It was by Shocking Blue.
Right, and it was a cover of a Shocking Blue track.
The
called-
original is sung by a woman, and they changed... Nirvana changed King of My... You're the King of My Heart to You're the Queen of My Heart.
Clever. Because
Very.
otherwise, why would you want a king in your heart?
I always think that's weird though, when, like when a gay singer sings
Yeah.
a song and it's about a woman. I know like Elton John, Bernie Taupin wrote the words, so it's
Right,
slightly different.
yeah.
But I sometimes think,
I
sing
think
about men if
I
you
think
like
it
men.
shouldn't matter. Like, say you're a bloke, I think you should still be. There's one bit where Morrissey goes, "I'm a girl and you're a boy." I like that. And I
How
think
I'm like him.
and normally Morrissey is so butch, isn't he? Kicking over bins, doing blow-offs in restaurants. That's Morrissey. I made a bit of a mistake. What is that called? Love Buzz, that song?
Yes.
I goes, "What are they saying, Matthew? Can you feel my..." He goes, "Can you feel my love buzz?" I thought he was saying, "Can you feel my lollipop?" What situation would you be in where you...
Don't say that in front of Courtney Love.
I won't do. I won't say I'm going to be good as gold, but I don't think she'll mind me saying, "Can you feel my lollipop?" Would you like to feel my lollipop?
What's this picture of you on a motorbike?
Well, alright, I'm in the Times today, on the cover of the Times magazine, it's a good bit of propaganda, I look handsome, and like the inside...
Propaganda, is that how you think of it now?
Sort of, yeah, I think of it as propaganda for the campaign, the ultimate campaign, to start us a nice little cult where we take over, if not the whole world, just a bit of it, where we can all live in peace, harmony, do yoga, vegetarianism, lots of kissing and cuddling. That's the sort of system I'd like to see.
Quite a lot of makeup on, don't you?
Oh, not that much, I think I look handsome.
You look nice.
And there's a photo within it of me sort of on a motorbike. What they said is, oh, right, we want to take a photo of you on a motorbike. I goes, I don't know how to ride a motorbike or use the verb to ride. I just use the post-past tense there. So, like, I goes, I'll sit on it backwards then and hold reins on it as if it's an horse.
Oh, that's quite good.
They goes, all right, do that then.
What's this picture of you with a wrench?
That's
dangling off your finger. What's going on there?
They wanted to make, I guess it's the juxtaposition of my dandyish femininity with masculine exploits, which I think I handled expertly, as a matter of fact, Matthew, because, you know, there are many paradoxes, like, you know, like I'm a big fan of West Ham United, and yet listen to how I speak. Oh, hello! Come on, you uns!
How's your football chant going?
Football chant campaign is going ever so well. We mentioned it last night on the Channel 4 show with Matt Lucas and David Walliams. Matt is an Arsenal fan himself, so he was keen to know how it was going. Just in case you're not up to speed on this, what it is we're writing, or me, Matt, you should help a bit, right, we're writing a football chant, and it's based around Billy Joel's song, Uptown Girl. It goes, so far, it goes, because West Ham play at Upton Park. Upton Park, where the Hammers, we're from Upton Park. It gets a bit weird here. We're just a bunch of East End boys. Now we're gonna make some effing noise. Some effing noise.
I don't think you can do those.
What's
last
wrong with the
lines
lyrics?
Are just wrong.
They're weak.
They're alright.
They are weak.
Because, yeah, but hold on, you go, we're gonna make some effing noise. Some effing noise. Right, you repeat that idea, then what happens? Whoa! Come on, brilliant football chant.
Asking
and that is the
much
noise.
of football fans to sing that big harmony bit.
Well, alright, but there's a bit at West Ham where they do, there's one bloke, I wish I knew who it was, there's one bloke alone goes, shake it up baby now, and then the rest of them go, shake it up baby, twist and shout, and he does that bit on his own.
That's
and then
Paul McCartney.
And then he's very good, this fella. He's got a couple of chums, they've got a skiffle band from Liverpool. It's going really well, and I wish them every success. But this Elvis Presley fella, if he keeps moving his hips like that, I'll have him banned, so as I will. Not on my show, you don't. So anyway, and then when it gets to that bit where it goes, the end of Twist and Shout, come on, come on, come on, baby, now, shake up, that bit where it goes, da, 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 and that takes a lot of effort, and they do all that bit really well. They really commit to it. So I'm just thinking, you know, Billy Joel, I mean, maybe it's a bit too cheesy, but...
Do they do that little stage school dance that you just did?
No, they don't, and when I do it, I'm asked to leave in the international language of violence. Get out of here! But also, you know that we were a little bit concerned about the lyric, we're just a bunch of feasting boys. Well, there's another chant, you know, I've been meaning to tell you, that goes, 1-0 to the Cockney boys, and that's a bit, no,
Cockney boys is, but the thing is,
it's bunch. It's bunch, isn't it?
Yes.
We're just a bunch. Alright, gang, horde, pride, gaggle,
even load.
Crowd.
We're a load of East End boys.
We're just a load of, yeah, but it sounds like, rubbish. Yeah, that would drive me. So anyway, the chant's going quite well, had some suggestions. I mean, yeah, this is from David Palmer. He's changed, what I don't like about David Palmer, I mean, thank you very much for contributing, David, I'm not attacking that, that's lovely of you. But he's changed some of the lyrics that we had that we were happy with. Upton Park, we're the Hammers lads from Upton Park, we're a barrow load of East End fans, of the best team ever in the land. Don't think that scans as well as our version. I really want to be at Upton Park. And one of the things we learned off of Pete Boyle last week is don't introduce different verses, different stanzas, reprise or reprises and stuff like that. It confuse people. A football chant has got to be kept simple. One of his greats, this Pete Boyle character, who's a great man, the poet laureate of the terraces, as I've been calling him, was gigs will tear you apart again. Simple, repeat ad infinitum.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's, you know, you've got to keep these things
Barrow
simple.
Load is trying too hard to be East End.
It is, isn't it? Yeah, we're just a flick knife worth.
Yeah.
yeah, it's a bit too craze. It's a bit too Valence Road.
Apples and pears.
Yeah, we're going to get some used motors. Yeah, I see the problem with that. I went on Soccer AM this morning, talked about the chant on there. It's a lovely programme, Soccer AM. It's Tim Lovejoy and Helen. They're really, really good. It's got very good organic atmosphere to it. It's grown over time. The sketches in it are all funny.
4 hours long, isn't it?
It's a very long bit of telly, but it's good hangover TV, brilliant atmosphere, good for football fans and non-football fans alike, I would say. There was a bit where, like, you know, he asked me about yoga, and I goes, yeah, I'll do yoga, I can do an headstand. I don't know why I used this sort of a kind of a bellicose braggart tone about yoga, an apparently spiritual thing. I sort of went, yeah, I can do yoga, yeah, I'll do an headstand for you if you like, son, cupping my own genitalia almost. And then he goes, go on then. Right, so I sort of thought, well, I'm in now. And I was wearing quite a jacket, it was quite restrictive across my shoulders, and obviously, as you know, I've got a ridiculous haircut. And I had to get into the sort of the position of a headstand.
On telly?
On telly, live telly, and I was thinking, I'm wearing a mic pack, of, you know, trousers, and that, you know... And
trousers?
Imagine that, Matthew!
You're such a pro.
I know, I thought, I'm going on telly, I'm going to put these pantaloons on. I mean, I was tempted to wander out there in my nappy, but I thought, people are not going to like some of the smears. So I got myself into position, went up, and I sort of rolled, like, got onto a headstand, but I was on the way up into the headstand, I could tell that I was gathering too much momentum, and it was not going to look good. I was in an actual headstand for about 0.5 a second before I just fell over backwards, rolled out. Essentially what I did, I was like a metronome, really. In fact, I didn't even do one repetition. I was like a scythe. I sort of scythed through the air, just fell on my back.
You boasted you could do something, then didn't do it properly.
Boasted I could do something, then did a very, very bad version of it, causing Lovejoy to lament, "You're rubbish at yoga!" Because that's very spiritual, what I just done there. It was absolutely preposterous. Good bit of telly, though, and a right rollicking laugh. He, too, and he's obviously, you know, he's an expert on football culture. He goes, you're going to struggle to launch that chant. But, yeah, of course. Yeah, he did. But he said he's tried to launch one himself, but his one weren't as good as ours. I can't remember it. It was not catchy. And, so obviously I should be at Upton Park today, but we're pre-recording this show because Courtney Love, is coming on the show later, so we need to arrange it for Courtney, so we couldn't do the show live. So perhaps even now, Matthew, West Ham v Sheffield United, Upton Park is alive with all manner of butch working class men going, we're just a bunch of East End boys, ooh-cha-cha, ooh-cha-cha, look at my pom-poms. That's what I reckon's going on in the East End right now. Do you?
Yeah, I think you could get it out there, but I think you, personally, you can go on any medium you like, but you've got to be on the terraces singing there.
Yeah, you've got to get amongst it, you've got to lead from the front.
Shout it out.
Like Alexander the Great. But I just wanted the message to pervade before I stood
out there, but now you've got to get out there.
Now I've got to get out there, you're quite right, Matt. Okay, let's listen to a record of some kind. This is, you're listening to Russell Brand Show, Radio 2, from the BBC. Sammy Davis Jr., what kind of fool am I on Radio 2?
Why don't you make a football chant out of that?
What kind of fan am I? Look at my daft haircut. I love that song, Matt. I see you roll your eyes. But this is Radio 2.
So sickly and Christmassy.
Yeah, it's coming up for Christmas. I like the bit where he goes, why can't I fall in love like any other man? I like it's all passionate and beautiful, and Sammy Davis Jr. and the Rat Pack, and Las Vegas, Matthew, the romance of it, Dean Martin, Sinatra. Can't you feel it? Isn't it beautiful?
It's lovely.
Yeah, I bet you liked it, didn't you, Trev?
I loved it. I could play records like that all evening.
Could you? Oh, look at him, lovely old Trevor, look. How could we ever think that it would be wise to sling him into a moat full of poisonous fish and triffids and the like, as once we did. No, we didn't think that, Trev. You're a delightful fella. So that was a lovely, lovely little moment for us on Radio 2. We're talking about personal conspiracies you've got in your own life. I'll tell you what I used to think. Here's the thing. When I was growing up, right, I thought that everyone, except me, were these sort of automaton robot beings
Hello.
that were involved in an uber conspiracy, including my mum and everyone. I just thought I was alone in the world, and all these other people were conspiring against me, would have meetings and that.
Drat, he's got us, Trevor.
Right, come clean, guys. This has all been
I've
a coup.
got wires inside my body, Russ.
The Truman Show, basically.
I thought I was in the Truman Show.
It's a common thing.
Solipsism.
That's what children think, though, isn't it?
All children think that the whole universe is a big puppet show built around their brain box.
And it's true.
Yeah, and it might as well be.
Why? What do you mean, might as well be?
Because you're a egotistical being, aren't you? Yeah. Not you, I mean one is.
Yeah, it's funny how you said you, though, isn't it? Yeah, I suppose me especially, I suppose I am a good example of an egotistical being, of a narcissist, of a self-obsessed, bit of a twit. What are you saying there, Trev? Everyone thinks this, you say?
Well, exactly, yeah. We live in our heads, don't we? That's the problem. That's the fundamental problem.
Better than living in your shins, though, isn't it? Or in someone else's garden.
Children think that when they close their eyes, they're invisible.
Oh, yeah, there's that test, isn't it, where you move a teddy about and they go, well, What can the dolly see, or something? Come on, Matt,
you're thinking of something else.
No, I'm not. Go on, what's that test? You know about that.
Yeah, they... Sorry, I'm eating.
Well, don't. You're on Radio 2.
Sorry, you've got a bit of fruit in your hand.
Little delicate bits of fruit, like an Arabian prince, not you scoffing great gobs full, big troughs full of pie.
I'm not. I really hate you. The way that you... Whatever
I really hate you.
When we went to Comic Relief, someone came up to me as soon as we got there and went, do you want any food? So I said, yeah. And then I was meant to be helping him learn his
Comic Relief, raising money for famine. I'll get there, he's scoffing chili con carne within 5 minutes.
Chili con carne?
Chili con carne, and they said, do you want chips with it? I said, yeah. And then he goes, look at you, you're eating Yob's food, chips, and chili con carne, that's Yob's food.
Everywhere we go, he has a dinner. Don't you? Everywhere we go, he has a
say
dinner.
no to food. If someone says to me, can I get you any food? I say yes.
He's like Rain Man. If they turn up in a doctor's surgery and ask for, can I have some stew? Everywhere he goes, he thinks it's an opportunity to have a dinner.
Snobbish about food.
You
Russell has a special company that deliver him food, £20 a go for a, what is it, a pot
organic
of goo.
wheat-free goo.
Yeah, and he'll get it delivered anywhere around London. It comes with his name and a little heart drawn on it. So he takes the mickey out of me every time I eat a jacket potato or something normal. That's Yob's food.
Jacket potato? They ate that in revolutionary Russia. What's wrong with you? Get with it, Matthew. Why don't you eat a bean delivered by a butterfly, as I have had? Yeah. Okay, well, I think it's nice that I eat that stuff, because remember, I used to be a dirty junkie and everything, and I do worry about it. I think, oh no, I'm spending 25 quid a day on this organic food. Oh no, I'm having these yoga lessons, private yoga lessons. But I think, you're never going to read in the paper, oh, he was doing really well, but then he blew all his cash on yoga lessons and organic food.
Living. Yeah, it doesn't really happen.
Because it means that I'll be focused, because I'm doing those things, and will generate more success, and everything will be alright. And our brilliant plan to take over, if not the world, at least a small region in Thurrock, will be intact. We've got Courtney Love coming on the show later. She'll be fantastic. I want to ask her about that time when she lived in Liverpool. She lived in Liverpool for a while, didn't she? I went out with Julian Cope and stuff like that.
I want to talk about Julian Cope. I don't
Won't
think they're
she?
friends now.
Oh no. God dear, what are we going to do? We've got to tiptoe
you used to
around
live in
everything.
Liverpool, didn't you? Just say that.
Just say that.
Don't
Go,
say anything
hold on,
else.
I'll practice it. You be Courtney, Matt.
Hi. Hello there.
You used to live in Liverpool, don't you?
Why'd you have to bring that up?
I'm so sorry. Go on track. Oh no, it's going to be a disaster. No, she'll be great.
It'll be great.
And we've got Noel Gallagher coming on a little bit later if we can remember to ring him. And John Ronson. We should ring John Ronson.
Yeah, we're meant to be talking about
He
personal
came on last
conspiracies.
week. Personal conspiracies. Well, I talked
think
about my
things-
personal conspiracy where I think everyone's robots.
Yeah, well, that's a bit mad. I think sometimes when I lose something in my house,
Yeah.
and I know, and then I go back and it is somewhere that I know I've looked.
You definitely look there.
Definitely.
So you think there's elves?
The weird thing
Elves,
about
is that it?
If I'm looking for
Mice?
mice, I think. With
Go
little
on.
silver shoes. No, I think when I'm looking for something in my house, and then I think, that's a really good place to look behind that wardrobe. I haven't looked there for ages, and have a really good place.
What do you hold on? What are you looking for? What are you looking? Keys?
Like my keys, right?
Why would they be behind the wardrobe?
Because they might have fallen there.
They're only going to be in a series of places like they're on the dresser, they're down the side. What, they might be behind the wardrobe. There's got to be a logical reason
Alright, so
how
I'm
those
looking
things
for my
got there.
passport.
Right, okay.
That could be anywhere.
Where are you going?
I don't know. This is hypothetical.
Okay.
So I'm looking for my passport, and I think, behind that wardrobe. And I think of a really good place that it might be. Then I find it somewhere else, but I still, after I've even got it, go and look in that place, because I had it in my head as an exciting, I'll look behind there,
What do you think
probably
you're going to find there? Some magic beans?
I don't know why I
At
still
the tunnel to Narnia?
Maybe.
What are you looking for, Matt? What's missing in
just-
your life that you're scurrying around looking at the back of wardrobe?
Love!
You won't find it in the back of the wardrobe, mate.
You might.
You probably find it around in some alleyway and archway, the way you scurry about. Early
talking
things
about?
out your window.
Shut up.
The way you live, it's despicable, so as it is. Alright, so I'll tell you what, why don't we play some music, then we'll give John Ronson or Noel Gallagher or someone a bell. Got to put a track on, Matthew, you're in charge of the switches.
Doesn't
This is
matter now.
BBC Radio 2. Why don't we listen to any of our jingles ever? Yeah, the Strokes there. I've got a big mouthful of salad. That's not the name of the
Very
track.
unprofessional.
Sorry about that, I was just peckish. That was a Stroke someday. Listen to BBC Radio 2. I'm Russell Brown. I'm here with Matt Morgan and Trevor Locke. Later on the show, we're going to be talking to Courtney Love and Noel Gallagher. We'll be discussing personal conspiracies which we've been discussing. For example, Matt Morgan used to believe that Crow lived in his wall, whereas Trevor Locke thinks that he's got Stalin's blood running through his veins. That's the dictator, not the type of bird. Poor cocky Lockie! A person who I consider to be something of a guru, an expert on this topic of personal conspiracies, would be John Ronson, because if you read his book Out of the Ordinary, he talks about, like, everywhere in his life he sees confusion and duplicity and oddity, don't he? Have you read any of it? Do excuse me, birthing
I've
on radio
read
too.
I've read
Column in the Guardian and that. And you've read them men who stare at goats. Goats who stare at men was the less successful book.
That's right.
But a kinkier one, I found. It was the one that drew me in.
a cheeky romp.
It's a cheeky, playful romp. It's a feel-good book. It's the feel-good book of the season. Are you there, John Ronson?
Hi, how you doing, Russell? Hi, Matt.
Hello.
Hi, John.
We're ever so well today. Trevor Locke's here. I don't know if you met Trevor last week.
I met him briefly. He was cold. He'd been out begging for money, right?
That's right, yeah, we don't pay him very much. Now, John, we're talking about personal conspiracies, like my one as a child that everyone else was robots is perhaps slightly preposterous. The one where I believe my mobile phone is helping me in some way, like it's got a consciousness, like it's a sort of a technological Jiminy Cricket guiding me through life, give a little whistle.
Like if a text doesn't go through, it wasn't meant to go through.
That's right, the phone then goes, message failed, and I sort of think, oh, I was never meant to send that text. No good would have come of this. And then I look sagely across a car park like that and the wind teases my hair. Have you got things like that, John Ronson?
Well, I'm always thinking people are talking about me.
Really?
I don't know if that counts, yeah. Well, my next door neighbour, when I call from the cat at night, I shout for Monty. And then I go, Monty, Monty, for the cat.
Yeah.
Thinking if anybody ever overheard this, they'd find it delightful, because what could be more delightful than the sound of someone summoning their cat in at night?
Charming, English, quaint.
Exactly, but it doesn't actually work out that way, because when I do it, I hear from over the fences people going, Monty, kind of mocking me.
They mock, they mock your cat calls.
Yeah, they mock it, and I feel like Eve in Paradise Lost. Cover me, ye boughs.
Oh, really? What, you feel all ashamed of your essential being?
Yeah, like I can never call from a cat in an unself-conscious fashion again.
That's not fair, to be robbed of the innocence to call a cat unself-consciously.
Well, that's what I think, because now when I call the cat in, I have to adopt a sort of mannish tone.
How do you do it, John?
Monty!
He's not going to respond to that, is he, Monty?
Like I defy you to mock that.
Yeah, Monty, you better get back here before I kick your head in, and any would-be deriders of this cry also fall under that umbrella threat. Perhaps you should shout that of an evening, John.
But, I worked out who it was. I knew it was one of my neighbours. I mean, at first I thought maybe it was a passing drunk or a kid or something.
Yeah, but they wouldn't, it happened more than once, and they couldn't be perpetually passing.
Yeah, well, exactly. And anyway, quite recently, my next-door neighbour had a party, and he was playing the music really loudly, and I got a bit cross, and I went next door and banged on the door and asked him to turn the music down. And then I lay in bed, and I could hear the neighbour regaling his party guests with stories about me.
Oh no, how
And the punchline was, Monty. So now I've pinpointed who did it. I don't know what to do in return.
I think perhaps ridicule him in your column and use this airtime now to make him a target for local yobs.
Excellent idea. Now I'm rather hoping he doesn't know that I'm doing this.
I came back home, John, the other day, and my own cat was doing that low guttural rumble that cats adopt in situations of conflict. It would go in, and I wanted to step in. I have this protective attitude towards my cat. If I see him in a fight situation, I like to think of myself as his burly human protector.
How often does this happen?
Often. Because he's a tomcat, I've not given him no ghoulie snip, so he's given to testosterone, or I don't know if cats have testosterone, or the feline equivalent of that. He's given to getting himself in a lot of rows, right, John, and Matt, and Trev, and everyone else listening. And, I can't address you all by name, it would be preposterous. So I sort of feel like I want to protect him, if he's in a fight, because I like to think of, I don't know if you're familiar with Watership Down, but there's a bit where they become friends with a bird, and they're able to summons a bird to assist them in a rabbit war, and this gives the rabbits a lot of kudos. It's good! People like Watership Down. So anyway, what I'd like to do is, the other night I came home, he was going through the cat flap. There was another cat the other side of the cat flap. It was a very, very confident cat. It had adopted this sort of feline arch, it was a fighting stance. It was like a Bruce Lee cat move. It was stood there with full of portentous menace.
Does this story end in you getting beaten up by cats?
Essentially, yes. And attending the musical Cats and demanding a refund because of violent conduct on stage and evoking negative memories. So, I sort of get involved in cat conflict. I did end up, to my shame, hissing at a cat, pretending to be a cat.
Okay.
Hissing? Didn't hit the cat. There was a bit where I spat at a cat. I was protecting my own cat. I know it's partisan, but I love my cat so much.
Of you.
I did a worse thing to a cat once.
There, go on, John, tell us. Make me feel better about myself somehow.
Okay, well, this other cat was attacking our cat, and our cat's quite stupid and allows it to happen. But I was getting annoyed. And I pinpointed who the cat was. It was this ginger cat lives down the road. the same day that I got a new mobile phone, my first ever one with a video camera on it.
Right.
So I read in the paper that if you want to stop a cat from coming around, you're supposed to squirt it with water.
Yeah.
So I was squirting it with water whilst trying out my video camera function. So I was filming myself squirting it with water. And this neighbour came past and gave me this look as if to say, you're happy slapping your cat.
That's a feline happy slap, a catty slap. Oh, John, that's embarrassing. Have you still got the footage? Because I think I might like to watch that.
I erased it in shame. I tell you what, Russell, I bet, being a cat lover, I bet you get annoyed if you ever gone out with a girl and she gets you the wrong cat food.
Yeah, I do, as a matter of fact. Yes, I do. Yes, that happened in my DVD, Russell Brand Live. There is an anecdote where I talk of a woman getting the wrong... my cat needs a very specific type of cat food, and when a woman gets the wrong cat food, I do see that as a slight against me, my cat, and our relationship. But I must be careful not to overreact. Verbally, I can be quite cruel if the cat doesn't get the right food, John, but it's something I'm trying to temper. He must have a particular type. I can't name the brand because it would be undue prominence, and I'd have to name a big list of cat foods.
Have you delivered on a bike with a heart on it?
It is the feline equivalent of my organic woofternosh that I eat on a daily basis. John, we've got to go to the news now. Thank you so much for your contribution.
Hey, thank you for having me. It's nice to talk to you again.
I think we consider you a friend of this show, and I think we'll be bothering you on a regular basis.
Whenever you want me, I'll be back.
Oh, you lovely man. Thank you very much, John Ronson. We'll talk to you later. So we're going to have some news now. Let's update ourselves with what's going on in this crazy world of ours. Before we do go to news, guess what? Last week, when we said to the newsreader, say shenanigans, she did say it.
Oh, did
and
she?
we didn't credit her. Thank you so much for saying that, newscaster Andrea. Andrea, you're the most beautiful newscaster on earth. That surely made it all worthwhile for her. See if you can get...
Hullabaloo.
Hullabaloo into the news. 88 to 91 FM, Radio 2 from the BBC. BBC Radio 2. You heard the news, then after the news you heard a cover of Get Rhythm, the Johnny Cash song, Get Rhythm. Who's that cover by?
Jawbone. It's like a one-man band.
He's a one-man band. I'd like to be... Imagine that, a one-man band. You don't need no one, do you? You got cymbals, drums...
You can't get the bass.
You can't get the bass.
Like
There's
that
no
was
bass.
very trebly. It's good, but...
It was trebly. It was trebly. I was listening thinking, hello, trebly. And also, he must get lonely. Sometimes, who's he going to have artistic differences with? Who's going to say
leg.
to him, his own leg? Yeah, do you reckon his leg will one day go to him, hey man, I remember when it used to be about the music. When did it become about groupies and drugs? Yeah, there will still be artistic differences, even with your own body. Look at this thing, Matt, Trev. Hello, Russell & Co. Have you seen the action figure I've created of you currently on eBay? Other auction sites are available. It's the same scale as the Doctor Who toys. Other Time Lords are available. So you can put them into the TARDIS. Other time travelling machines are available. And imagine what it would be like if you were the new Doctor. Good luck with the new show from Mr. James Smart.
Well, he's made an action figure.
Yeah. He's made it. He's fashioned it around Flash. Gordon. He saved it. One of us. He's taken that and he's remodelled it. Have a look at it on eBay.
What does it do?
It's me. It didn't do an awful lot. It just stands around being me.
It is a ladies' love aid. That's what it is.
Trevor!
He's taken a
It's an action figure. It's only between 6 and 8 inches long.
No, it isn't. Well,
it's not it's not a life-size thing. You can't give it a cuddle. Tell me about it. You've put a bid?
Of course I have.
You've bid for it? Oh, Trevor.
You know, this
bring it home. Bring that action figure home.
Personal conspiracies and paranoia. Someone might do voodoo on that.
Oh my God. Do you think someone might do voodoo on my figurine?
There's any justice in the world.
Someone will get on
you pull a string and it goes, oh, you pulled that string, it hurt me. Don't pull that.
Here, get off that string. Get off it. That's my string. You've got no business. It comes out of my back.
You yobbo.
How dare you try to control me? Yeah, silly business, really. Here, on these personal conspiracies, or personal paranoias, perhaps let's call them, here's one. Russell, Matt and Trevor. I used to believe that buzzy insects, such as bees and wasps, were tagged with microchips designed to be permanently implanted into a human during the stinging process. Thus, bees were evil because they worked as government agents performing sting operations.
Suicide stings.
Suicide stings, yeah, those ones are much more, they're committed, aren't they? That's where bees get their respect from, isn't it? Because you know a bee's going to die, so you think, well, the bee is committed to the sting, whereas your wasp...
Maybe that's just a
sting willy-nilly. No, bees do die.
It's true. Oh, it's true.
Is it?
Painful.
Oh, God.
Oh, God, man.
A lot of good bees.
A lot of good men fell because of those guys. Yeah, so, what's this? Those guys in white suits that hang around beehives, I think, are government informants giving all the bees codes. Oh, they're beekeepers, surely. I always thought, thought. But then that's what they want us to think. So precisely what we won't think. We must confront these ideas. So bees could be working for the government. Surely not. They're unreliable, so they're too cute.
Well, what are the ones that make beards?
Ones that makes beards?
Yeah, don't you remember?
Like a beard of bees.
Always be on record breakers.
Yeah. How many times are you going to do? It's a very obscure record to be so prominently placed, isn't it?
Yeah.
Beard of bees. That's much below the 100-metre sprint, but it was more prominent, wasn't it?
A beard of bees. Would you put honey on your chin?
You put honey on your chin and lure the bees in. You could have a beard of bees, a moustache of bees. I'd like a beer bra. I'd like a bee belly.
That's very dangerous.
Is it?
Yeah.
Why?
Because you get stung so much.
Oh, right, yeah, of course. But then you'd have all that, and then you'd been implanted by the government. They'd know your every single move. Now, I happen to... Well, Matthew, you look like you're about to say something that's going to change the world.
Well, the man who's had the many people who've had beards of bees, they'd have, like, a whole beard of implants that the government are tracking them on.
Yeah, they would. Their jawbone would be like MI5 central headquarters, wouldn't it?
Dismiss that man's claims.
Let's forget that. Listen, your claims, mate... Oh, actually, she's called Lisa. She's from Leicester. Your claims... dull, sweetheart, are ludicrous. No, maybe they're true. Let's not dismiss the rantings of Lisa from Leicester. She says she loves our Radio 2 show and she's looking forward to the new slot on Channel 4. Her first show was on last night. Further show, Courtney, who's going to be on our Channel 4 show next week, is on this show right now. We just saw her through the panel of glass. Why don't we listen to a track, then we'll get Courtney Love in here. We'll talk to about all sorts of stuff. You're listening to The Russell Brand Show with Matt Morgan and Cockedy Trockedy Lockedy on 88 to 91 FM, Radio 2 from the BBC. What are we going to listen to, Matthew?
Belly.
Let's listen. That was Wave of Mutilation by the Pixies. That singing in the background is Courtney Love on The Russell Brand Show. Courtney Love is here. Let's create atmosphere for her.
Hello, darling.
Hello.
With his wild snake hip charm and cultish sense of humor, Russell Brand was always going to go down well with the Big Brother set, but is Middle England really ready for the new voice of Radio 2?
Well, are you ready? Are you ready, Middle England?
God, darling, you made it to the cover of the Times. Oh,
there I am. That's the Times magazine today. There's old Russ's face on the front, and that's a quote.
Well, they call him a national treasure.
A national treasure, I'm referred to as. And, yes, I mean, I don't think the nation is England that they're referring to. Perhaps an impoverished nation somewhere in the Balkans. But, yeah, no, it's a very flattering piece. Thank you for showing such an interest in it, Courtney.
I'm fascinated by this writer. I wish that this writer wrote about me instead of the other one.
But perhaps now I'll introduce you to Robert Crampton. He was a very charming and nice man.
Chrissy Ely wrote my piece, and she was lovely, actually.
Okay. Well,
and then I got in a bit of a fight with another Times writer, but we've made up.
Good, Courtney. I'm glad. If you can find peace with people, you can't be humiliated.
Oh,
madam.
no, she did.
You're above all that.
She didn't mean to embarrass me. She just...
I consider you to be above embarrassment. Is that not the case?
No. I took to my bed for 3 days.
She sent you to bed for 3 days in a bad way?
Yes.
Oh, you poor woman.
I took to my bed. I was so human.
If you're going to be lying around in bed for 3 days, give me a ring next time. I'll pop along.
Oh, Russell.
I'll liven things up.
You know that's not how we've decided.
No, we're gonna deal with this platonically.
We're gonna be friends forever and deal with this platonically.
But perhaps I could do a shadow puppet thing at the end of the bed. I've got a wonderful range of
I could do a shadow puppet thing too.
There we are. See, we can entertain each other with shadow puppets.
We could put pillows in the middle of the bed.
Why not?
Yeah, I mean, a huge, beautiful television at the end of my bed.
Lovely, but if we did decide, Courtney, I don't think a Hadrian's Wall of pillows would prevent us. You see... Courtney, that cough did not sound healthy.
It's a bad cough. It's going to be worse. I got to do another one. Okay, ready? This is a smoker's cough, everyone.
Stop smoking. This is a warning to any young people. We're determined to get young listeners. If you are listening, do not smoke.
Smoking kills. So last night, I come back in.
This is interesting.
And I wasn't out with you. No, I wasn't out with you.
Okay.
Which was sad. Made me sad. Anyway, I come back in at 2 in the morning. From my club.
Right.
And where everyone's smoking. And there's a little man sitting out in front of my very posh hotel room.
Romantic.
He looked hopeless and sad.
What was he doing, this man?
He said he was there for sort of security reasons. And I said, I'm not the president. I'm not J-Lo. Off with you. And,
that's good. You spoke like a princess in medieval Britain.
I was au revoir. You know, darling, you don't have to sit here. Really, it's absurd. I found out today, and I'm not going to name the hotel because I love the hotel very much. It's a very, very lovely hotel, as you know.
Yes.
That they've decided...
It's a B&B.
It's a little B&B in Bayswater.
Awful place it is. They're running a knocking shop round back. There's been a lot of confusion.
No, it's literally in those. Yeah. But they've decided that because I smoke in bed, they're going to have a fire marshal sitting outside of my room.
A fire marshal?
A fire
What's
marshal.
his qualification?
For every second that I am in the room, I must have a fire marshal sitting outside of my room.
Does that make you feel a bit uneasy?
That's absurd!
It is absurd, Courtney. None of us likes having a fire marshal outside. Outside now, we've got an anxiety marshal, we've got a paranoia marshal, we've got a swearing marshal. There's so many marshals out there. There's a cavalcade of marshals.
It's a cavalcade.
Endless marshals.
There's a parade of marshals.
But
the Rose Parade.
This marshal, he would, in a fire situation, he would be no good. I mean, I suppose they're assuming you'll fall asleep in bed with a fag in your hand.
And just combust.
And it'll be an
there's
inferno.
a smoke alarm in there.
The combustion would happen if, you know, you and I decided to put the platonic.
Could be explosive, Courtney. There's no doubt about that. They'd need an orgasm marshal
that would be the
outside
orgasm
that room.
marshal.
Right, there's been an orgasm, for Christ's sake! Courtney, what are you
now.
do? Not the views of BBC Radio 2, but actually lovely, lovely radio, Courtney, and very, very alluring.
Really?
You know that sort of theory, and I think it comes up in the film Amelie, that when women laugh, ha 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 ha, it is a prelude to the sound of orgasm, to lure you in. You think, oh my word, that's what she'll sound like when she does an orgasm, and it lures you in and makes you attracted to them.
Is that a concept? Is that a theory?
This is
a hypothesis.
Yeah, but when you literally did an orgasm noise there, on some atavistic level, on some primal level, I thought, oh, bloody hell, hello, my luck's in, crikey, that's a nice racket. Yeah, I think it sounded very, very pleasant, madam. But you are a woman whose voice is used for many things, mostly music.
It was a fakie.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, cross, I would never know the difference. And quite honestly, if they're prepared to go to the trouble of faking one, I consider my work done.
That's right.
If it can inspire that, there's nothing to worry about.
I faked plenty in my time, and let me tell you, I've had fun faking them.
Yeah, just get into it.
I don't know why people complain about faking them. They're just as fun to fake.
Fake it till you make it.
Exactly. It's just like acting, and acting's fun.
Acting is fun.
Exactly.
Right, now listen, let me try and construct an interview in a proper grown-up way.
You're going to try and control me now?
I can't control you, man.
Yeah.
We might as well go outside and argue with the weather. I don't need to alpha you, darling. I'm all over that bloody alphabet.
I want to find someone to alpha me.
I'll alpha your little brains out.
Love
now
that.
listen. Listen, my love. Right, so these are the things I want to talk to you about. I want to talk to you about your time spent in England, in Liverpool. I want to talk to you about films that you've made, and I want to talk to you, obviously, about music. Now, where shall we start off on this? I think...
Can we just keep talking about sex?
That will inevitably happen. There will always be a subtext. We are biological machines designed to procreate. That will always be
You're
there.
the sun, I am the moon, let's have an eclipse. I'm stealing your lines, I'm sorry.
Did I actually say this?
Not to me. I said it to a friend of mine.
Russell.
I don't remember saying that.
You are the
Bloody good
sun,
lyric.
I am the moon, let's have an eclipse.
Why did you say that?
It was just one of his
I was
crazy
with Patrick
lines.
Moore. He looked very attractive. I thought that's the kind of line that's going to appeal to an astronomer. Astrologer. Which one's which? I never know which one's lies and which one's real. One's looking at astronomer, that's looking at the sky. Astrologer, that's trying to trick people into believing that you're 1/12 of.
Can I tell you the biggest Californian scam that happened to me the other day?
Go on, darling.
Oh my God! So I've gotten a little Zoftig, right? You know
what? Sorry,
Zoftig. A little. I've gained a little weight.
Oh, you look lovely.
Well, it's because you love women.
Would you agree?
It's because you love women and because I'm well shaped. But
you are well shaped.
I have gained a little weight.
Nice.
And I needed to lose it because I knew I had to come over and do your show and do, you know.
One thing I can't stand in a studio is out-of-shape birds.
Right.
Get them out.
Get her out. So I decided to go on this radical diet, and I went down to this place in San Diego where they give you, you know, wheatgrass colonics, and we're not going to talk about those, but they make you drink horrible barley water and wheatgrass juice, and they kicked me out for smoking.
Bloody cheap.
All right, but
in a
this isn't the
macrobiotic
punchline.
centre, you smoking snout.
All right, so they kicked me out. I said, I'm not giving up. I'm going to a hotel, and I'm going to continue the fast and the colonics and the energy work and lay on the beds of, they have a bed of amethysts that you lay on.
What's them, stones?
Yeah, there's
that can't be very comfortable.
Gemstones. There'd be gemstones that you'd be lying on, yeah. She pulls out all the negativity. And
it's really good voice.
This Australian man comes to my room about midnight, and he's an Ayurvedic astrologer, which is a different sort of astrologer than just the normal Western bogus kind of astrologer.
You get a mumbo-jumbo marshal
we're
outside
getting
your
even
room.
more mumbo-jumbo. He tried to sell me a bracelet for $48,000.
What was it like?
It was made of like crap jewels, and what it was supposed to do was
wine gums.
defeat my astrology. Like, defeat my, my bad things in my Ayurvedic astrology chart.
You can't do Battle with the Stars if Darth Vader has taught us anything.
Cheating the Stars. It was some yogi wrote this book called Cheating the Stars. Literally, it was the craziest.
Cheating the Stars?
Craziest snake oil. I was born in San Francisco. I've been exposed to snake oil, culty astrology, or I could read tarot before I could read books. And I'm telling you, this was one of the nuttiest experiences of my life.
It sounds preposterous.
It was preposterous. But I let him go on for 3 hours, Russell, because it was so bloody amusing.
Sometimes it's interesting, like, yeah.
It really was.
Sometimes you'll find yourself engaged with a lunatic, you think, well, this person is mad, but just, let's just let them keep going. Perhaps you'll be talking to a racist at a bus stop, you just think, well, I'll carry on letting them talk.
Absolutely.
Just because it's interesting.
Just because it's interesting.
Are these really your views? What's it like being you? Then maybe jab them with a pen lid or something, see how they react to that.
Little National Front. I'd listen to a National Front.
What about our culture? You fetishise English culture, particularly.
Fetishize it. You know what? For one thing, for just a few years, my mother was a citizen of the British Commonwealth, as was I.
Really?
Just a few years.
Tell us about it.
Well, she moved to New Zealand to a commune, and because I was not emancipated and I was still a minor, I also became a British citizen for a very few years.
Emancipated? Emancipated
means you're legally an adult.
Oh, right, and also
15.
Free as well.
So I lost the right to do that, but we were members, I had a passport, a New Zealand passport, so, we paid taxes to the Queen.
Don't try and weasel your way into English culture. You're the most American person I've ever met. You've come in, oh my God, there was a guy giving me amethyst. Oh, I better have a cigarette every 25 seconds. That is an un-English attitude. For heaven's sake.
Darling, really, I don't know what you're talking about.
You do have an affinity with English culture. Now, look, you've brought us something really exclusive, like you've got one of your tracks.
Of course.
Why don't we have a little listen to this? Tell us about it before we listen to it.
What? Should we do what?
Why don't you tell us about this track that you brought in before we have a listen?
Okay, so I kind of just can't wait, because it should be sounding fresh, and it's not coming out until February or March. If you listen to Women's Hour...
yes, which I'm sure we all do.
The people listening to this, I'm sure you all listen to Women's Hour, which I did not enjoy myself on, by the way. If you listen to Women's Hour, the other day, they played about 38 seconds of this song, and this is sort of the other half.
Okay.
But this is the chorus now, and this is a rough mix of a song called Pacific Coast Highway.
Well, it sounds very exciting, but the only people who will have heard the whole song are people, a tiny demographic that listen to Woman's Hour and our show. Now, what kind of mixed up, befuddled schizophrenic would listen to Woman's Hour? Probably you're the only person who's had this experience, Courtney, my darling. Alright, so what's it called?
It's called Pacific Coast Highway.
Pacific Coast Highway. Oh, should we have a listen to it, Matt Morgan?
Yep.
It's about the Pacific Coast Highway, which is not in England.
No, I'm well aware of our coastline, thanks, madam. We spend most of our time defending it from the bleeding Yanks. Let's have a little listen. That was 1979 Smashing Pumpkins. This is the Russell Brand Show. We're with Courtney Love. She's popped out for a fag, but there's no reason for us to feel bereft, because who's that on the phone? Why, it's Noel Gallagher, of course. You're right, Noel?
Yes. How are you?
Yeah, I'm in a very good mood today. I'm very upbeat. Enjoyed my appearance this morning on Soccer AM. Did you see it?
I did.
Yeah.
I did. And you were having a little pop, weren't you? You still thought I was in bed, didn't you?
Yeah, I thought you won't be up. Yeah,
you were having a little pop. You and your bleached hairs, mate.
Me and Tim Lovejoy, yes, because
he was saying, doesn't old cane you for the clothes you wear and all that malarkey.
Yeah.
And I was sat shouting at the telly. No point in caning Russell. Seems though he doesn't dress himself and he's got a stylist. Because cane is stylist instead.
Blame the fashion industry. You might as well.
Whatever his name is.
That's Sharon Smith, dear old Sharon Smith. She does a wonderful job.
Yeah, but let's tell me this, did it hurt when he toppled over?
Yeah, there was a bit where I did a handstand, as I mentioned earlier in the show. Toppled over, did land on my spine.
No, you build it as yoga. You didn't build it as a handstand. I shall do some yoga.
Witness all ye this wonderful yogic performance. And I did, just got onto my head for a moment and fell flat on my spine. Did you and Sarah enjoy that moment?
Sarah was like, look, he's winded himself, and he didn't really say much for 30 seconds after.
It was disorientating, being on my head for a little while, then sort of falling over onto my back like that.
I can't understand why. How did that come about?
Well, I suppose it's because I'm in that environment where it's football, right? And I'm always aware that I'm rubbish at football. And I think when the opportunity came for me to do something physical in that situation, Noel, do you know, I thought, seize the day, carpe diem, get into the spirit of things, do an handstand. I've not seen it back yet. Did any of my bum get exposed or anything like that as I was falling?
No, it didn't actually.
My face didn't go all red and my hair get ruined.
No, as ridiculous as this sounds and as ridiculous as it looked, you didn't see the crack of your.
Thank heavens.
Yeah, no, we didn't see the crack of your heavens, and you didn't see your beer belly either, which you haven't got actually. But
no, I haven't. I'm actually a very
because you don't drink beer.
No, I don't.
It's been well ascertained on Six Music. You're lightweight.
I know. In our former incarnation, it was well established that I can't, and all those kind of things.
So, how did it got your screening the other night?
Really well, yeah, really well. Matt and David were fantastic guests. It was a brilliant show. And our next show, Courtney Love's going to be on it. Courtney Love will be rejoining us in the studio here after she's had our cigarette.
I don't mean your TV show.
Oh, you're not interested in the TV show?
That screening you had for your DVD the other night.
Oh, yeah, okay. So we had a party for the DVD for people on MySpace. It went very well, actually, Noel. It was a lovely night. How was the screening of your documentary?
Bit of a waste of... the party was great. The screening was a waste of time.
Why? Weren't people listening? Not very captivating on telly,
Liam was heckling himself all the way through it.
Heckling himself?
Well, you know, every time I'd come on the screen, he'd heckle, and every time he'd come on the screen, he'd say words to the effect of, "Go on, you geezer."
When you went on, who does he say "go on, you geezer" to?
To himself.
Go on, like shouting support to a pre-recorded version of himself.
Of himself, yeah. The party afterwards was colossal.
Really?
Mm.
Well, we had planned to come, but like after our own party, we all felt rather weary, and we trundled off home to Bedfordshire.
Yeah. Well, we had a. You were sorely missed, Russell.
Were there any events or anything?
Pardon?
Was there any events? Did anything unusual happen?
Anything unusual happen?
Yeah, anything peculiar?
No, usual. We all got drunk, and then there was some very questionable dancing going on the dance floor.
Oh, really?
And
you were hoping to win Caner of the Year, the Sun's rather insalubrious award.
I'll get that, don't you worry about that.
Well, I was offered Shagger of the Year, a similar award from the same title. I'm not sure if I'm willing to accept that accolade.
I think you were the Shagger of last year, without a doubt.
Yes, and for the preceding decade I was making some wonderful progress, but it's not sure I want it to be commemorated.
Well, they come up to you and offer you that.
A journalist from The Sun came up to me and goes, we're thinking about giving you Shagger of the Year. How do you feel about that? Whilst I'm flattered, I don't know if it's the kind of thing that I need at this moment as I'm forging ahead on radio.
No, because then you've got to do that weird handshake with one of those journalists from The Sun, haven't you?
Oh yeah, handshake photo. I bet you've done a lot of those, haven't you?
Not with anybody from any tabloids, no.
Oh really? You've never done that? You've never accepted
I don't like having my photograph taken with people, if I can help it.
I know, yeah, when fans come and do it, you always make a little scene, didn't you? Go into a little sulk, say you're not having it done.
No, I don't do it, so I just say, can I get a quick picture? No.
Whereas I, a generous man. Yes, of course, sir or madam.
Of course, Kenneth, thanks for asking. Project. No, I'm all just fine. What do you want a picture for? I never asked Neil Young for a picture when I met him.
Didn't you?
No.
Fair enough,
I just nodded in a manly kind of way. I went, right, Neil, him like that, right, Neil.
I'm sure he appreciated that manly nod. Now, Noel, I'm going to use this radio show once more to try and browbeat you into coming on our television programme. Please come on our television programme. Are you going to Australia?
I am going, yes.
Oh, God.
Do you know what I found out yesterday?
What?
I got a phone call off Weller yesterday.
Oh, yeah, because Paul Weller's coming on to the programme.
Yeah, but he's coming on because you've told him that I'm coming on.
I didn't tell him that, but
yes,
people...
you did, because he said to me, I won't do the accent. He said,
yeah.
You know when we do this Russell Brand show, and I was going, right, go on, and he said, because you're on it, and he was going, and he said to me, he wants us to do a tune, and I was going, does he now?
Yeah. Wouldn't it be brilliant television? I'm sure everyone would enjoy that. Come on, Noel. Going to Australia.
Russell, if I'm around, I would gladly prop up your television career as well as cementing your radio career. It's kind of what I do. Ask Ricky Gervais.
You're a wonderful media godfather. What have you done?
If I'm not around, Russell, it can't be done, mate.
There's very little that could be done. Now, how's things going with Stop the Clocks album? Is everything going all right?
No, I don't know. Those Westlife boys have.
The Irish lads are going to pip you to number one.
I don't think it's going to be unless somebody's gone out and bought a truckload of it today. I don't think so.
Unless there's a last-minute surge. Oh, I hope to God there is.
I don't know. It wasn't really designed to go to number one anyway. If it was a new album, we'd be a bit. But
Okay, well...
We're obviously no match for the mighty Westlife.
No, there's a battle you were never going to win, Noel, you know, in all honesty.
As long as we beat the Beatles, that's all we were bothered about.
That's the main thing. Noel, we have to leave now. Thank you very much for joining us on our radio show. I'm going to come to your gig tomorrow, is that alright? You did ask me.
Yeah, come down, it'd be good.
Matt's going to come down, all the Soccer AM people said they're going to be... Why? It sounds like a gala, and that's...
yeah, well, who else is on? Kasabian is on.
At the Union Chapel tomorrow. This isn't a
at
ticket
the Union
event,
Chapel, and,
Is it sold out, I'm presuming?
it's sold out. It's sold out.
You arrogant pig of a man!
I know, what's this you saying about my hairdo is rocketing skywards, pumped up by my massive ego.
Good, isn't it? I thought it was a funny thing to say. I hope that gets
hang
out.
on a minute.
Yeah.
You're a stand-up comedian.
Yeah. So?
Well, how egotistical is that? Getting on stage and going, listen to this is really funny. Oh, shut up, it's not funny at all.
Oh, how dare you! It's very
I am
nearly
part
always
of a rock and roll ensemble that just makes music, whereas you think you're funny.
It is an arrogant assumption now that you put it like that, yeah. Swaggering through life.
Have I ever told you a funny story? No, not once, as a matter of fact. Right.
Don't let it end like that, Noel. No, we're going to go now because Courtney Love will have finished her fag, and I'm sure you'd like to offer some message of love to Courtney Love. She's a lovely person, I'll have you know, isn't she?
Yeah, well, by all accounts, never met the woman.
Never met her, but she is absolutely fantastic. We're going to go back to her now. Noel, thank you very much. I shall see you tomorrow. See you tomorrow. Take care, love to your girlfriend,
bye.
Sarah. See you then. Bye, Noel Gallagher. Bye. Okay, what should we listen to now, Matt Morgan?
I think we should listen to the Black Keys.
Why don't we listen to the Black Keys? We like them very much. When them Black Keys are finished, guess who'll be here? Why, it'll be Courtney Love, back from her fags. Black Keys.
Show me love, show me heaven up above. Show your soul, show your mind, show it to me all the time.
Radio 2, that was the Black Keys. Listen to Russell Brand. What Black Keys track was that then, Matt?
Keep Me.
You like them Black Keys, don't you?
I love them, actually.
Why did you just go, keep me, in that voice?
You asked me in a robotic voice, so I replied.
In a robotic voice?
Yes.
The dialect of robots. Courtney Love is back here. You're right, my dear.
Black Keys are American.
Yep.
Why would we...
Okay, I'm going to read this aloud.
She's reading from the Times again, my article in the
Earthy, name-dropping, self-obsessed, bright, articulate, candid, almost compulsively so, confessional, anecdotal.
Yes.
For an interviewer, Courtney Love is the mother load. No, Russell Brand is the mother load. But wait, this is what I like. It goes.
Yes.
He's gone from minor cult to candidate national treasure in less than 12 months.
Well, what did
I know we've already brought that up, but I just thought that was
Thank you
great.
for articulating that for our listeners, and of course my huge ego enjoyed it as well. But it has been a journey shared by many great men like Matt Morgan there, without whom this whole operation couldn't run. He is cute. Look at him sat over there, dirty little devil.
Such a man.
Oh, he's brutal. Oh yes, he's ever so masculine.
I look like Eddie Vedder a bit too much.
Yeah, I know. You're kind of sexy in it.
I don't think he looks like. Don't tell him he's sexier than Eddie Vedder.
English taste.
English.
Your English gnashers. Then, of course, there's the glorious Trevor Locke. Now, you'll never meet a more English person than Trevor Locke. He's almost like the essence of Englishness. Quaint, bashful, daft, and just a little bit racist. No, he's not racist, and nor are English people. We're in lovely integrated society. We work very hard for it. Trevor Locke, is there anything you'd like to say to Courtney while she's here, while you have the opportunity?
Well, I've never heard a guest be more sycophantic to Russell before. It's well done.
Thank you so much, darling.
Extraordinary.
That's lovely. That's quite a compliment.
Charming is what Courtney has been.
Oh, yes, sorry, of course.
Delightful.
Utterly charming. Absolutely.
I just think we get along well.
We do.
Well, I'll tell you why you get along well.
I didn't quite really, you think it's sycophantic?
No, it's not Trevor. Trevor,
No, of course
retract
not.
that.
That's absolutely
Would you
honest.
retract
I mean,
that?
how else could you describe the man exactly? You're behaving the right way.
I was, in fact, reading from the magazine.
really fascinated by Russell.
You are.
And I like him.
Ah,
But
nice.
What is it that's
Russ?
particularly
I genuinely
unusual
like
and
him.
fascinating? What is it? What is the quintessence of this fascination?
He's one of the most. He's not cruel. He's not cruel.
He's not cruel.
He's
No.
not cruel.
You know.
He puts when he was out there being, a sex addict, which apparently he's not anymore.
Don't say apparently.
Apparently, or apparently he's not anymore.
Disappointment in your
He
voice
put
there.
parameters upon that and didn't hurt people, which I liked. I liked that about him. He's insanely charismatic.
He is. Yes.
Very, very articulate, and I just don't think he has a bad bone in his body.
Yeah, and there's old Matt with his English teeth. Good old Russ. There's a big
So if
storm of
that's,
charisma. That's lovely. Thank you, Courtney. That's the nicest thing anyone's ever said about me, and I appreciate it enormously.
Can I cough now?
Oh, Christ. Now it makes it sound like those compliments have come from a wheezing hag.
Pall Malls, baby,
Oh,
since
no.
I was 12.
You must stop smoking. Stop smoking. Give
All
it
right,
up.
all right.
Knock on the head.
I'm
It's boring
thinking
to
about
smoke.
it. I know it's time to grow up.
Yeah, knock it on the head. Now, Mr. G is our resident poet. He is the poet laureate of our show. Mr. G, have you written a poem about today's proceedings?
Yeah, I've got a poem ready.
He's got a poem here. Let's welcome Mr. G with
Hi, Mr. G.
stuff. I should announce to our Radio 2 listeners, Mr. G used to summarise every Six Music show. We've brought it with us to Radio 2 just to show that we're not right gits. And he's bloody good. He's really good at poem. Well, listen to the poem. Judge him for yourselves. Mr. G.
Okay. This poem is about conspiracy.
Oh, God.
Hear ye, from the land of conspiracy, where 1,000 theories reside with resounding delivery. Russell believes his phone Cooper shows him which way to go, but Matt had to advise him to stuff his pants because his credit was low. Then he spat at a cat that attacked him in his flat. Next time, the feline will be back with a baseball bat. Maybe that's the conspiracy, where government bees are fearing we might get West Ham fans to take to the stands and follow Russell's one-man band. Soon we'll all be talking like the man, in only a language that he understands. Wouldn't I chai? Didn't I chai? That's the end of my poetry chai.
Mr. G! Even quoting our mangled grammar. What a fantastic show it's been today. We've had some wonderful people on. John Ronson, he was wonderful. Noel Gallagher, wonderful and articulate as always. Trevor Locke, your contributions have been brilliant, particularly you were very cheeky to Courtney Love. Matt Morgan,
I'm gonna slap you on the bottom.
Well, don't do that, Tim Courtney. That would be seen as an invitation to him. You'd probably just make him gape.
Okay.
Courtney Love, you have been perhaps the best guest we've ever had here.
Really?
I can't remember a
Say that to
moment.
all the girls.
We don't really have that many guests in here because we can't be bothered talking to most people. I'm very vain and egotistical, and both of these two are a right pair of clever clogs. He's a poet. There's never normally room for anyone else to speak.
I see. Well, kudos to you.
Madam, you are a duchess, you are a princess, you are a queen, you're a glorious thing to have here. So, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to dedicate the show to Courtney Love. Let's have a round of applause for Courtney Love.
Thank you so much, darling.
Thank you very much for listening to us on the BBC.
Bye-bye.
It's been the Russell Brand Show, 88 to 91 FM, Radio 2 from the BBC. Boy, I love you, boy!